Hi folks. There's been a lot of interest in this news around the what's going on in the biological laboratories in Ukraine, and the Russian Ministry of Defense gave quite a big press conference yesterday, which was the 6th of March, and I just wanted to highlight what they said, and the reason we're doing this is because the ludicrous bias in the Western and particularly UK media, we're not hearing anything about what the Russians are actually saying. So in a few minutes, I'm just going to give a quick summary of what they said, and then you can decide for yourselves how credible it is. So the starting point is basically an acknowledgement by the United States through the Department of Defense that they have been funding various biological laboratories around Ukraine, and we'll go into the actual number. The position, the official US position, is it's a biological threat reduction, and essentially this came out of a program which was to do with regular threat reduction, disposing of small arms and other munitions. And in 2005, for some reason, that program was extended by following a visit by none other than Barack Obama to include biological threats. Now, 2005 was a long time ago, so the first thing that springs to my mind is why has this taken so long, essentially, for, we're here 17 years later still doing threat reduction. It seems kind of unusual. Now, what's happened is the US embassy has kept this piece of the site up, but all of the details of the actual locations have been taken off their website, but they're still available if you know how to look back through archives on the internet, which we have had a look at, basically. And then let's look at the Russian position. So the first really important document in Russia is April 2021, and it's important because it's in a Gazeta.ru, which is a sort of official, quasi-official government newspaper. So it's obviously been approved, in inverted commas, to get the article in there. And what's very significant here, I think, this will pan out, I think, over the next few months, is that they have a direct quote from a representative of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this has obviously been an agreed position between Russia and China. And his word-for-word quote from that article is he's saying, "Look at Ukraine. The US has created 16 laboratories there. Why has the US created so many laboratories around the world? And what are they doing at Fort Detrick?" So again, this is pretty significant because it's an official journal, the Gazeta.ru, and because a Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs official has also provided a quote, which means it must have been approved at very, very senior level there. So the big news, I guess, is from yesterday, which is a Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation, quite a detailed briefing about what they found so far. And essentially, the position is that, of course, all research on biological warfare and stockpiling weapons, etc., has been banned under the treaty that signed by more or less everyone in 1972. Now, the main problem with that treaty is that there is no essentially enforcement mechanism, and I wonder if you can guess which was the one country in 2001 that declined to sign up to the enforcement mechanism was the United States during one of the Bush administrations. And the Russians are claiming that what they found is that a lot of documentation and a lot of pathogens have been destroyed, and their position is that happened because if the Russians were able to recover the pathogens, then they would be able to have potentially a chance of proving a breach of the biological warfare treaty. So the slides that they put up here, and we'll look at a bit of evidence that they provided, but the slides here, for example, are showing their claims, which are, from Ukraine, you basically have a very significant migration of measles, diphtheria, and tuberculosis in these directions. And they've put here the incidence of measles in different countries. I'm looking this, I'm not sure per this potentially, I don't know, per 100,000, but whatever measure they've used, you can see that the Ukraine is the highest incidence of measles, and it's somewhere about 25 times higher than all of these other countries. And this is one of the things they've said is causing them a problem. And then this is all of the laboratories. And it's also worth pointing out that this biological threat reduction program actually goes all around Russia. So it goes into Georgia and also into Kazakhstan. So sort of Russia is, from their point of view, surrounded by this program. So that's also a bit of a question mark. So specifically what they produced were various Ukrainian language documents, which they claim their colleagues in the Ukrainian biological laboratories had passed over to them. And these are the documents about the disposal of, I guess, evidence and pathogens themselves. And this is the summary of the statement that the Russian Ministry of Defense came out with. It has been discovered that there was an urgent move by the Kiev regime to destroy evidence of the existence of a military biological program in Ukraine funded by the United States Department of Defense. And what they've promised to do is to produce more documents and evidence as things move on. But that was the position as of the 6th of March 2022. And just closing up now, this is the links to the various material that we looked at. So this is from the US Embassy, that it confirms the existence of the program. The detailed data on individual locations of laboratories and how much funding has gone in has gone from that site, but it's still available if you know where to look for it. This is the official Gazeta.ru, which is the sort of government newspaper essentially. And here is a link to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the full briefing. It only goes on for about 5 minutes, but if you're interested, then it's there as well. So, I mean, this is obviously going to play out in the next few months. And again, the main reason we put this up here is, I think the both sides of this story need to be shown, and the media coverage has been just stomach-turningly awful from the West. Because of this and the other videos that we've put up, people should realize the history of this is way more complicated than the media portrays. It's not the cowboys versus the Indians. This is a very complicated situation. And as we go through this, whatever the outcome, our feeling is the main objective of the West is regime change in Russia. And many of the steps leading up to the awful situation that we're in now, with innocent people dying in Ukraine, have been pursued deliberately in order to create the conditions where regime change is more likely inside Russia. So that's our view from here, and please share and subscribe and follow us on Twitter if you found this interesting. Thank you. Bye.